What's my reaction as of right now when it comes to Harmony's native token called One? Well, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, first of all, the way to take a look at it is that, yeah, sure, when it comes to One, the pullback has been pretty significant, but a bunch of altcoins are also having a pretty big pullback. But also on top of that, I am still a fan of the fundamentals. I just feel like it's a project that sure is experiencing a pullback as of right now, but I'm still a fan of the fundamentals, and I don't feel like I've seen an altcoin season during this cycle. So overall, I have not given up. I am still dollar cost averaging once a month, even though I am not telling anyone to do anything. But my point of view is that when it comes to One, as of right now, the market cap is around 60 billion, right? Actually, slightly below that, but I'm just saying it's pretty low. But when was the last time I saw this market cap when it comes to One? It was basically kind of near the end of 2020, around that beginning of 2021 type of range. So I haven't seen these levels in pretty much, what is it, around 5 years ago at this point, give or take. So when I take a look at something like that, is this necessarily going to be such a concern for me if I am looking to dollar cost average? Well, if my intention is to exit, then of course, hypothetically, it's a different case. But if my intention is to dollar cost average, I don't know why I would necessarily complain too much if, let's say, the market cap is around 60 million, again, if my intention is a dollar cost average. However, the way to take a look at it is this as well. Sure, when it comes to One, it did experience a good altcoin season back in 2021, and even back in January of 2022, we saw that. Now, ever since then, it kind of hasn't really done much, but if I take a look at it, kind of in the somewhat short to medium term, we saw just back in December of 2024, the market cap was nearly 600 million. And as of right now, it's slightly below 60 million. So the market cap was almost 10 times what it was right now. And that was back in December of 2024. So literally almost a year ago at this point. But the way you take a look at it is that I don't think that was even an altcoin season in my perspective. But again, I'm totally aware that 25 cents, it is currently around a 62.5x from here. So the pullback has been pretty extensive. But at the same time, a bunch of altcoins are having a pullback. I don't feel like it's only just one. The way you take a look at it is this. Even projects out there that aren't necessarily known to have the best fundamentals, they're having a pullback. But then when I take a look at One, it's also having a pullback, and also some other projects out there that are kind of known to have pretty decent fundamentals. So there's sort of this kind of lack of distinction in this case as of right now, where it almost doesn't even really kind of have this section where, oh, it's a project that has good fundamentals, is not having a pullback. It doesn't seem to be the case, right? It's just a general event where a bunch of things are having a pullback. Take a look at even Bitcoin, take a look at Ethereum. Again, a bunch of projects are not having, such a good time as of right now. But again, my intention is a dollar cost average. Now, granted, even with not having seen a market cap this low in pretty much around 5 years, the reason why I just don't randomly try to find a time to just do this or do that is because I will never be able to know how low something could go, right? My intention is a dollar cost average once a month. So whatever happens, I'm just doing it consistently. I treat it like a marathon, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. My thing is that imagine if for whatever reason, hypothetically, I try to go find the perfect moment, and for whatever reason, if I decided that time was December of last year, imagine what would have happened when it comes to my holdings when it comes to One. So I've just been dollar cost averaging once a month, and that's it. Now, also on top of that as well, again, when it comes to a project like this, sometimes you like to say, oh, no one really cares about it. Well, I mean, I get the sentiment as of right now, but personally for me, I am still a fan of the fundamentals, and let me explain why. Because, for instance, if we take a look at Harmony, it's an open blockchain network, which granted, there's many blockchains out there. I mean, it isn't necessarily kind of doing anything that's reinventing the wheel in my perspective, but at the same time, I feel like it's pretty cool nonetheless, and I don't think there's only just going to be one blockchain and then the rest don't really do anything. This is just my point of view. Because, for instance, we see Ethereum, we see Solana, we see Algorand, we see Cardano. Again, there's many layer 1 blockchains. But I'm just saying, even on top of that as well, right? Harmony is kind of harping a little bit, I think, to the kind of popularity of Ethereum, because if we take a look at it, Harmony's mainnet can run Ethereum applications. However, even besides that, Harmony utilizes something called sharding technology. Now, keep in mind, there are some projects out there that do use sharding technology, right? Harmony is not the kind of sort of only one that has this sort of vibe. Like, for instance, we take a look at the Near protocol. which I think is arguably the most famous when it comes to that. However, also on top of that, we take a look at Silica, allegedly the world's first sharding-based blockchain. So yeah, I just want to use those examples real quick. But even besides that, why do I find sharding pretty cool in this case? Well, it's because through sharding, the network is split into multiple sections known as shards, and workload on the network is distributed amongst these different shards, and as a result, the network becomes arguably pretty scalable. So then, in my point of view, it's just pretty interesting in my perspective. So yeah, I mean, Harmony isn't necessarily the coolest project out there, but I don't really need it to be, in my perspective, because I'm not necessarily expecting it to be the best, but even if it just does hypothetically pretty okay, like I wouldn't even be disappointed, but who knows, only time will tell. I have no control over it, because even just going back to a market cap back in July, I mean, again, that market cap right there is, if you compare market cap right now to that, it's actually around 10 times lower. In my perspective, what is Bitcoin going to do if it even reaches 200 grand? That's not even over 3x in my perspective. But yeah, that's just the way I take a look at it, but who knows, only time will tell. Now, sometimes you have to ask me, okay, when is there going to be an altcoin season? I'm not going to be able to know because, for instance, I do not have these capabilities to know when this is going to happen or that. Again, the only thing I can do is just prepare. That's it. It's just kind of the analogy I want to use is this. Let's say I am surfing in the ocean. I think it's much better for me to just prepare and just kind of be in a position for me to catch the wave if I'm surfing, as opposed to trying to chase something, or should I say in this case, try to chase a wave that's like 50 or 60 feet away. There's no way I'm going to be able to swim, or should I say paddle faster than that, right? So yeah, that's just kind of my point of view. I'm not about chasing or trying to find the perfect moment. I'm just more so about preparation, and that's pretty much about it. Now, what is one going to do during an altcoin season? I have no control over that. But again, the only thing I have control over is myself, so I'm just going to be waiting, staying patient, and that's pretty much about it. Now, I get it. Harmony is not necessarily the coolest project out there. Like, I didn't enter this space just because of Harmony. However, no one is necessarily telling me to hold one. Like, for instance, I could easily just exit. I could easily just not believe it anymore. But my thing is, the reason why I'm still in this space, right, is because I just don't think I've seen an altcoin season. That's just the way to take a look at it. And I still like the fundamentals of Harmony. If the fundamentals of Harmony, for whatever reason, became worse, then that's a completely different case. However, the fundamentals, I don't see what bad thing happened to it. It's just, generally speaking, altcoins having a pullback. So again, as of right now, I am still not giving up. I'm still staying patient, but that's ultimately all I can do. Like, again, I didn't enter into this space because of Harmony, but the thing is, Harmony, for me, is more so of an acquired taste. That's the way to take a look at it. If I were just to put an analogy, it's more so something I have to take a look into and just kind of study before I really kind of become a fan of it. But I don't mind anyways, because for me, when it comes to one, right, it is one of the things I'm holding. It is not the only thing I'm holding, by the way. I hold other projects too. And the reason why is because I will not be able to know what happens to a project. Like, for instance, some projects out there, sometimes they mention how their team has just kind of left the project, or they just don't really want to update anymore. Like, I have no control over that, right? So instead, what I do is I just prepare with projects that I do like and just see what happens, and that's pretty much about it. However, as of right now, all I can do is stay patient, and that's what I'm going to do. And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a nice day. It's Mali the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.